My name is Chris Russell. I just got back from the HR Tech Conference, and I'm mentally and physically drained. But I guess I'm next on the Rec Tech Podcast.
Welcome to Rec Tech, the podcast where recruiting and technology intersect. Each month, you'll hear from vendors shaping the recruiting world, along with recruiters who'll tell you how they use technology to hire talent. Now, here's your host, the mad scientist of online recruiting, Chris Russell.
All right, this is Rec Tech, the only podcast that helps employers and recruiters connect with more candidates through technology and inspire conversations. Today's show is a special edition, beginning our coverage of the annual HR Technology Conference held each year in Las Vegas. But first, the Rec Tech Podcast is sponsored by our friends at Work Here. Work Here connects your business with local people who want to work for you. They do that through a hyper-local candidate delivery system. What does that mean? Well, it means they use advanced advertising techniques such as geofencing to target interested workers in any location you can dream up. Head over to workhere.com to learn more and tell them you heard it on Rec Tech. It's a really cool service. The podcast is also sponsored by our friends at HiredTool. We'll talk about them up front. Before the audio, the recruiter's best friend. If you need to add an amazing sourcing tool to your recruiting toolbox, HiredTool is an easy-to-use product that will help you hire faster, no bullying required. Check them out at HiredTool.com, and also congrats to them as well because they just got about $5 million in venture capital funding that they announced at HR Tech as well. So that was a pretty cool, some pretty cool news I saw at the show as well. All right, so it's Saturday afternoon. I just left about a good 10 hours, I think, after flying all day yesterday in and out of airports, trying to avoid Hurricane Florence, and just not trying to decompress a bit after a long week. It's definitely a tiring trip if you've never been to it before. It drains me every year. There's so much happening there, so many people to talk to and reconnect with, so many vendors that, it can be overwhelming for even a veteran like me who's been there for 6 or 7 times now. Of course, for me, the highlight is always is the people, right? I took home a T-shirt from Great People, the applicant tracking system, their booth that says, I work with great people. And that T kind of sums up to me what I like about this industry, about working in HR tech. It's the people that I interact with on an everyday basis, which makes it enjoyable for me. There were plenty of course, parties after hours. I got to hang out with CEOs like Catherine Minshew from the Muse, who's always a great conversationalist. I chatted with great analysts like Andrew Gadomski, who I met for the first time in real life. And I met some of my other clients also for the first time in real life. So it's always a great thing to do. This year's show saw kind of a new level of AI speak. I thought last year if we heard AI, it just took it up another notch this year. I mean, one article I read said that he counted, some blogger counted 72 different companies touting AI. So there's a lot of buzz around that, too much so because the average recruiter does not know what that means. But anyway, it's another story. A lot of buzz around diversity and inclusion areas as well. Blendoor, vendors like Blendoor, Talvista, and even Intello, which has features to help you make unbiased hiring decisions, are definitely getting traction in the enterprise area among companies. So that was kind of a little bit of a trend I thought this year. We're seeing more startups around that and feature sets like that. My favorite startup I thought was Video My Job. They were in the startup pavilion area, which hosted a couple dozen startups there. Video My Job is a 6-person startup out of Australia, which has an app essentially. It's a DIY video app for companies to help them create great job videos. The app is really slick. It's got a teleprompter built into it. It's got like little outlines to tell you where to stand. It comes with a stand, a tripod, and a light as well with it. And it's just a really slick app that they've built there. They now power the whole Monster Studios app, which just came out as well. So that's a pretty nice coup for such a young startup. I got a demo from Kristen Graham over there. Really cool. They have all the videos get uploaded into a central database where all the companies that are in their system can go and look at those and kind of they can learn from other companies as well. They've got a talent piece which will let you ask questions via video to a candidate and have them reply. So pretty cool stuff coming out of Video My Job. So check them out if you're in the need for something like that. Again, it's a DIY product, but it's probably one of the best ways I've seen an app help a company create great job videos. So nice job, Video My Job, guys. All right. In this episode, you're going to hear 4 of the 6 finalists from the HR Tech Pitchfest. I didn't get a chance to. I had a meeting. Can record the last 2, but the winner and the Pitchfest they had a stage there. More than 30 companies participated in it. They had judges like people from Randstad who actually sponsored it and was giving away $25,000. Tim Sackett was definitely one of the hosts and judges as well. I recorded pitches from Blendoor, who had a really great female CEO. I thought her pitch was awesome. She was one of the more polished ones, I thought. They have a diversity recruiting platform called Blendoor. There was Compliance HR. It's like LegalZoom, but for enterprise legal departments. Jane.ai, which is a virtual HR assistant that answers questions from your employees on a day-to-day basis. Pretty cool. And Relish Careers, which is an MBA-level recruiting platform if you're looking to target that level of candidate. Let's see here. In the coming weeks, I'll have 2 more shows with about a good 12 or 15 short videos or interviews I did from the expo hall floor with various vendors. So be sure to stay tuned for those. And so here, without further ado, here is the audio. There's about 35 minutes here of the HR Tech Pitchfest, and these are the finalists, 4 of the 6 finalists. The winner ended up being Tal Vista, which is another diversity recruiting platform as well. So that kind of tells you about some of the trends I mentioned earlier. And hope you enjoy the audio. And let's go. Let's do this.
Let's do it. Hello, Pitchfest. Hello, Pitchfest. What is happening? My name is Steve Bowes. I'm super excited to be the MC for the final round of our first annual HR Technology Conference, Pitchfest. This has been the place to be here at HR Tech this week. So thanks everybody for coming. I'd like to thank our judges, Ilanka, Jean, and Kim. You're looking fabulous. Jean's like in the middle. Jean's like the Simon Cowell of HR Tech right now. Are you going to be like the tough one? All right, good. We are super excited, and HR Tech has been featuring startup companies on our exhibit floor for many years and showcasing them both in our awesome new technologies for HR session and our discovering, this sounds very familiar, I think I wrote this, discovering the next great HR technology company. I'm not going to read the rest of this. You've seen the Pitchfest for a while, right? We've done 3 rounds. This is the final round. This is how it's going to work, though, in case this is your first time here in the Pitchfest Theater. There are 6 companies who had advanced to the finals this morning of the Pitchfest from our earlier rounds. The 6 companies will have 5 minutes each to pitch, and then followed by 2 to 3 minutes of Q&A from our expert judging panel. The judges' votes will count for 70% of the final score, and the audience vote will count for 30% of the final score. Now, I'm going to read this part because this is important. To vote, scan the QR code on either of the 2 signs, one on the back here on the right, one back here on the left. You may use the QR code reader in the HR Tech mobile app, or download your own QR reader. I'm glad to see QR codes making a comeback, too, by the way. That's exciting. Voting will be open after the first pitch and will remain open for 2 minutes after the last pitch. You must rank each company and be present to vote. After all the pitches are complete and the votes are counted, we will learn who has won the first ever HR Technology Pitchfest and the $25,000 prize, courtesy of the Randstad Innovation Fund. Thank you to Randstad. As well as the $5,000 prize for the best solution showcasing support for diversity initiatives, also courtesy of the Randstad Innovation Fund. Finally, the overall Pitchfest winner will present and compete in our Discovering the Next Great HR Technology Company competition, which is this afternoon at 4 p.m. Dramatic page turn. All right, let's get to this. No one wants to hear me any longer, including me. This is the good part. Our first finalist to pitch is Blendoor. Welcome to the stage. Good luck.
Hello, my name is Stephanie Lampkin, and I look like an engineer. But I hadn't always. I was born to a single mom who at one point was homeless while pregnant with me. I was lucky to have started to code at age 13, AP Computer Science in high school, and an engineering degree from Stanford. Had a technical role at several companies over the course of 10 years, and then got a master's degree from MIT. 6 months after graduating from MIT, I interviewed for an analytical lead role at Google. They came back and said, sorry, we don't think you're quite technical enough, but we'll hang on to your resume in case some more sales or marketing position opens up. So I took my non-technical self and I built Blendoor, a diversity sourcing and augmented intelligence platform that mitigates unconscious bias in hiring. We've had over 100 companies on the platform and a wait list of over 400, generating $1.2 million to date and 51K MRR, growing at 27% quarter over quarter. We have an enterprise SaaS tiered model based on number of users and expected job postings, and customers are willing to pay. Why? 95% are inbound because, one, they understand the benefits of diversity, but they also understand the cost of unconscious bias. Fortune 500 tech companies are spending $2.7 million a year on unconscious bias related issues, whether it be lawsuits, branding, attrition, overall loss of talent opportunities. So this is how it works. We crowdsource diverse talent from several strategic partners. We do algorithmic job matching and only showing the skills and education that matter. No name, no photo, no age. And then by integrating with the applicant tracking system, we're able to track how far along different demographics of candidates make it in the process to flag where bias is impacting decision making. We also have partner sourcing and event sourcing analytics to understand the ROI of your various strategies. And we developed something called Blendscore, which is a comprehensive equity and inclusion index so that companies can see how they fare against other companies in their industry and size. We are results obsessed. We increase the number of matches of women by 1.5x and underrepresented minorities by 6x. Also offering a $250K a year savings on various D&I strategies through our analytics and benchmarking. What makes us different? We understand that with AI and ML, it's garbage in, garbage out. If you don't have a strategic diversity sourcing model, you're operating with the same data. So we are obsessed with inclusion, algorithmic inclusion, to prevent algorithmic bias as well. It takes a village. We've raised $500,000 from various micro VCs and angel investors. Laszlo Bach is one, as well as Reshma Sejwani, and we've had a ton of amazing press. This is the future talent workforce. Companies understand that if you don't modify the rubrics that you measure talent with, you miss out on opportunities. Genius is evenly distributed, opportunities are not. So we position ourselves as retrofitting for the future workforce, understanding that you can't fix what you don't measure. So giving companies the ability to analyze what's working and what's not working, broaden their talent pool, and optimize the artificial intelligence that's driving their key decision making. About 3 years ago, I had the benefit of being invited to the first ever White House demo day, and a very interesting comment was made.
Next Steve Jobs might be named Stephanie.
Next Steve Jobs might be named Stephanie.
So Obama is right. Augmented intelligence is needed for us to see people better. You never know who could be your next Steve Jobs. Thank you.
All right, that was great. I love the purple sweater. You're right on brand, too.
Blendoor purple.
All right, judges, questions. Ivanka, please.
Stephanie, I have a question for you relating to the impact you would like to make in the world. So in 5 years' time, what is the impact you are looking for?
I think the biggest impact is seeing more equity equality across the board. So talked a little bit about yesterday how our product roadmap is starting with top of funnel hiring, but we see opportunities in compensation, performance reviews, etc. The problem is we haven't yet seen a scalable solution to drive numbers to see more gender parity across the board. And so if we can really demonstrate that our tool is driving that, but also it's correlating with business results, that's a win for us.
Stephanie, I'd like to know what your partnership model looks like.
So we're partnering with over 100 strategic partners like Anita Borg Institute, National Society of Black Engineers, Lesbians Who Tech, who already have really strong membership databases. And so we plug into their databases, provide those candidates to companies, and on the back end we're able to give conversion analytics so that they can see how well they're actually facilitating placement of diverse candidates in this company that they can use to justify sponsorship.
Stephanie, fantastic presentation.
Thank you.
My question is a bit more tactical. You had me wowed, and then you said 250K ROI, which struck me as the low end of what I would expect given what you're talking about doing. How did you get to that number, and is it low?
Yeah, so the 250K is actually relating to the spend directly focused on diversity sourcing. So as mentioned, with the analytics that we're able to provide about which partners are actually driving the best hires for technical roles, for sales roles, for certain demographics, we enable a much more efficient way to access that talent. Sort of a one-stop shop.
May I have a follow-on question? So,
yeah.
So in that sense, the competition is really other diversity initiatives, right? Other D&I stuff happening in your clients?
Not really. You know, I tell people that D&I is more of like the Trojan horse, right? But ultimately, what we're doing is helping drive better talent, as a lot of people here are doing. But fundamentally, if we don't pull more diverse data into these AI and ML models, the idea of best talent oftentimes looks like historical success. So it's perpetuating the same bias. So D&I sort of gets us a foot in the door, but actually we're just helping companies find the best talent.
Go ahead, Anton.
Question around adoption, because recruiters are very much used to looking at CVs with all the details in there. So how do you help to transform the process that they're also willing to look at anonymous CVs?
Yeah, so we've been really bullish on making the platform as lightweight as possible, integrating with the existing flow of what you're already doing with your applicant tracking system. And because we're top of funnel and we're saying, okay, this is your really preliminary screening of who could potentially pursue a further application and resume, it gives us an opportunity to just get customers to understand that this is just an initial step, but you will see the full resume once you identify someone as a viable candidate. And then once that identity is revealed, as mentioned, we can do the tracking so individuals can understand what their decision equity is over time.
Anything else, judges?
Just one more. What does the pricing model look like?
Oh, I guess I can't go back. Can I go forward or back? It's tiered based on the anticipated number of users and the anticipated number of job posts and the level of analytics that companies want to have from the ATS to the HRIS.
Thank you.
Last question from me.
20 seconds.
The challenge you solve is a global one. What is the global expansion plan?
Yeah, I flew here from Copenhagen. We were in Stockholm talking about this very issue. They're more so having challenges around immigrants, more so than gender diversity. So again, the best possible way that we can facilitate matching while removing names or any indication of ethnicity.
Oh, sadly, we're out of time.
Thank you.
I was waiting for the rest of the line, though. I just flew in from Copenhagen, and boy, my arms are tired. Awesome. That was great. Great way to start the final round of the Pitchfest. Next up, we have Compliance HR.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Lori Brown. I'm a lawyer. Talking about compliance after talking about something as compelling as diversity and inclusion is just downright unfair. Let's start that, put that out there. Again, I'm a lawyer. I've been helping companies tackle compliance issues longer than I am willing to admit. I was a chief legal officer. I worked at Littler Mendelsohn, and here's the one thing I've discovered throughout my entire career, and that's nobody likes compliance. Nobody likes it. It is honestly like going to the dentist, paying taxes. It is painful. It is terrifying. But you have to do it. So, of course, the one thing that I find that HR professionals hate more than compliance is paying lawyers to help keep them compliant. I've got my little visual up here. Yes, babies, puppies, lawyers, not so much. So we identified the issue. Here's the real issue. The regulatory landscape for all of the HR professionals out there these days is crazy. It shifts every day. New laws enacted every single week. For example, think about independent contractors right now, the hottest regulatory issue going. To be an expert, to arrive at a confident decision on an independent contractor classification, there are over 1,800 reported cases. over 100 different statutes across the country. It is absolutely impossible to keep up with. Let's talk about something else. W-2 hires, whether or not they're overtime exempt. I know it sounds incredibly boring, but here's the rub. You've got to know 2,300 different cases, and again, different laws in different states, to say nothing about leave laws. There right now, quite frankly, are over 40 different paid sick leave laws in different jurisdictions. There are different FMLA laws coming on the books every single week. There are 92 different minimum wage rates right now to keep up with across the country. Again, it's absolutely impossible. Yet, the billions of dollars, yes, billions of dollars that employment law firms have made dispensing advice on all of these topics is exactly the spend that U.S. companies are desperate to avoid. And you know what? All of those portals with content and resources, those are great. Those are terrific resources. Except when you are an HR professional under the gun, you've got to make a critical decision in the moment. You don't have time to absorb and understand all that static content. So we saw the issue. We knew that we needed a dramatically different delivery system, and we turned it on its head. It's my pleasure to introduce you to Compliance HR. Compliance HR is the first of its kind and only platform out there that is leveraging the AI expert system technology of Neurologic and combining it with the subject matter expertise of Littler Mendelsohn, the world's largest labor and employment firm. What are we delivering? We're delivering an intelligent platform tackling independent contractor, overtime, leave compliance, wage and hour, onboarding. Now, let's take a look at how it works. We basically have our users go in and complete a digital questionnaire that is tailored to ask only those questions that you need to basically produce that expert level output. From there, where we go, we do something nobody else has ever done. We actually give you a vivid, colorful answer. We actually give you the guidance where we've targeted what it was about your specific fact pattern that most increased your risk. That's an independent contractor. On overtime, again, the most heavily litigated issue of the decade. On overtime, basically, we follow the same functionality where we ask our user to go in, fill out critical questions, and then we are giving you, again, based on the technology under the hood, based on every reported case in the country, every regulation, every opinion letter, that is all going to work to produce a clear, easy to understand breakdown of what your exemptions are. It's an amazing tool from an educational standpoint as well. And then again, we're giving you a dynamic consultative memo. This is the money memo right here. This is what you pay lawyers tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to do. And we give you a transcript to show you the Q&A that drove your results. So, there's your ROI right there. To get the country's best expert to go out and look at a fact pattern, to know all of those cases, all those regulations, and take easily over 10 hours per position. That's the country's best expert. Our technology, 20 minutes. And the 20 minutes is what it takes to read the resources according to our user data. So that's incredible ROI. We're talking about a SaaS, cloud-based, on-demand, scalable solution. It is a subscription-based model. And again, the pricing, a drop in the bucket. This is incredible technology that is essentially crunching all of that data to produce a result that it would take you hundreds of thousands of dollars to produce. The reception, we've got every company.
All right, that's time.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Great job, judges.
Good morning.
Please.
So a couple of points to me. So you said subscription-based. What's the cost of this? I mean, you're a lawyer bot, so are you pegging the pricing to the cost of a lawyer?
So no, not at all. This is a SaaS model. It is really software-based. It's tiered according to number of users and according to your use case.
Sure, but I'm just trying to be greedy and get at the. What would you like to get?
We have subscriptions right now anywhere from $6,000 annually all the way up into six figures according to the size of the company and again their use case and what their user community looks like.
Are you addressing compliance here in the U.S. or does this product have a global?
Well, if you know anything about Littler, you know that they are a global footprint. We've started U.S. based, and we certainly on our roadmap are looking to expand using again that same knowledge management content database that Littler uses.
And what countries are strategic to you in terms of your rollout?
Well, we're hearing a lot about Brazil, where the independent contractor issues are exploding. We're hearing a lot about Canada. And so, for some reason, the independent contractor issues seem to be at the forefront of everybody's mind with the explosion of the gig economy. And so we're hearing a lot about those jurisdictions. Canada and Brazil are really where we're getting the most requests.
Which part of your platform is most used by your clients?
Hands down, because of the overtime regulations that the Obama administration was toying with at the end of 2016, and now with the DOL announcing that they will change the thresholds again, overtime has been used tens of thousands of times, a lot by some Fortune 50s, in fact.
Another question is, are you planning to do anything in the field of data privacy?
Interestingly, so right now our platform is not configured to house that sort of data, and in fact we're trying to stay away from that. But everyone wants us to go in that direction, so we're certainly exploring it.
Your competition is the in-house counsel. Who else are you competing with?
Actually, our competition wouldn't as much be the in-house counsel. That's a great group of our users, in fact, because as you know, legal industry is changing so much. Companies want to do more with expanded teams. That's why they want self-service tools. So really our competition would more be content resource portals and frankly law firms. Now, this is changing the delivery system and allowing our clients to be more self-service oriented internally.
Tell me a little bit about the team and your board.
Sure. Our board consists of both Littler Mendelson shareholders as well as Neota Logic principals out of Australia. We have some at-large members. Our team, I'm very proud to say our team is 70-30 female to male.
And sadly, we will not learn any more about the team. But thank you, Compliance HR. Great job. Fantastic. All right, 2 great presentations. We got 4 more to go. Let's keep going. Next up, please welcome Jane.ai. Take it, Jane.
Does this sound familiar to you all?
How many vacation days do I have left? Do we have life insurance? What's our benefits package? Do we provide disability? Do we have a bonus program? How does our options work? When will I receive my first paycheck? Do we have
Think about all the time we waste searching for answers to these questions. There has to be a better way. Well, today there is.
Hi, I'm Jane, your company's first AI-powered team member.
And I'm David Karandish, CEO and co-founder of Jane.ai. Jane makes all of your company intelligence accessible in the simplest way possible. She connects to the 3 areas that your company intelligence lives: your apps, your documents, and the knowledge of your team. Jane's been specifically engineered to integrate with these key systems, mine business intel out of your documents, learn the tribal knowledge of the organization, and make all of that accessible in a conversational interface. Now, since Jane connects to your cloud-based apps, you can ask her questions like, Jane, how many vacation days do I have?
You have 8 days left.
Not only can she retrieve information from my HRIS and various systems, she can take actions on my behalf. Jane, block out my calendar for Thursday.
Sure thing. I just declined your events for Thursday.
Now, if you work in an HR department, which most of you do, you are swimming in documents. Documents on top of documents on top of documents. Jane can extract the questions and answers out of those documents, so you never have to answer those questions again. Now, most AI systems, you gotta get it just right. Siri and Alexa are prone to this, where you say it slightly off and then they go off the rails. But with Jane, she can clarify that response even if you say it differently. Jane, what's our paternity leave policy?
Did you mean A, maternity leave, B, parental leave, C, none of the above?
Now, Jane learns from every piece of feedback she gets from our thumbs up, thumbs down system. Every time you send her a thumb up, she matches to it more often. Every time you send her a thumb down, that goes into the machine learning algorithm to train her going forward. Now, if you ask Jane a question and she doesn't know the answer, unlike any other AI platform at this show today, that's okay. She will route that question to a Copilot console where a member of your team can say, I know the answer to that, and that becomes part of her knowledge base going forward. Now, as much as I can reach out to Jane, she can reach out to me.
You should get going. This is a timed presentation.
Thanks, Jane. The market for AI is exploding. It's going to be $60 billion by 2025. We've got a software as a service, recurring revenue business model, multi-year contracts, We've generated over $1 million in the last year in terms of bookings, and we've only been around for 19 months. We've got an executive team from places like Google, HP, and Oracle, and our customers love what we're doing. I want to tell two quick stories. The first is Centene. Centene is a Fortune 100 company. They came to us and they said, David, we've got all these policies and these procedures and these onboarding documents. Could you get those into Jane? And we said, yeah. Within a couple of days, Jane was up and running, answering questions for Centene's 30,000 plus team members. I want to tell a quick story about Schaefer Oil. Schaefer Oil is a 175-year-old oil company. They sell oil to industrial manufacturers. Now, a couple of years ago, they said they're going to get into the consumer market, start selling quarts of oil on Amazon. It seemed like a good idea. But now their helpline, which would do sales for big, multi-thousand-dollar orders, was now getting calls from guys like Bobby Joe from Rolla, Missouri, want to know what kind of oil he can put in his John Deere tractor. Now, everybody loves Bobby Joe. He's a wonderful individual. But the sales team was going crazy because now they ended up having to do sales support instead of out closing their deals. So they brought in a customer success team, a bunch of dreaded millennials like myself, who've never changed their own oil, and it was a gigantic mess. So they asked us, David, could you hook Jane up to our oil match database and our product listings, and then Jane could answer these questions. Now the customer success team is more successful. Bobby Joe's getting an answer to his question. Customer sat is up, employee sat is up, win-win for Jane. Lastly, we believe that it's important, even for a small St. Louis-based startup like ourselves, to help bridge the digital divide. I got my first computer when I was a kid. It was literally being thrown away, and it changed the course of my entire life. So we started a nonprofit called Create a Loop last year to teach kids computer science, specifically focused on girls and underrepresented minorities. We have over 100 kids going through our classes every year. Thank you for hearing about Jane. I look forward to your questions.
All right, great timing. Thank you. I will open it up to our judging panel. Judges.
Are you already at the stage that you can measure the ROI? So what you bring from an efficiency point of view?
Yeah, so we're 19 months in, so it's still early, but we're getting thousands of questions every single day, and we're helping save companies thousands of hours every single month.
And a question on your product. What part did you develop yourself, and which part is from external providers as a base like IBM Watson?
Yeah, great question. So all of our NLP was either developed internally or using open source technology. We never send any of our queries out to any other engine because we want to maintain the privacy and security for our customers.
So different workplaces obviously have different employee populations. Not every employee is sitting in front of a computer. How do I interact with Jane? Can I access her through a kiosk? I mean, tell me the different ways.
Great question. You can access Jane wherever you want. If you want to send Jane an email, she'll email you back. If you use Slack or Skype for Business, you can instant message Jane. If you want to send Jane a text, she can text you the response back. If you want to put Jane on your company intranet, she can do that internally on a web page. If you want to put Jane on a customer-facing website, you can do that as well.
Great presentation. It seems to me that you've got a pretty short window here to grow really, really quickly. There's a lot of competition around this. How are you going to do hyper growth?
Great question. So we're raising a Series B round in the next 6 to 12 months. We're doing that off of the backs of building a nice booking space in a very short period of time. And we're proving out what we're doing in the HR and customer success functions. I've raised capital in previous ventures for some of my other companies before this, and super excited to build up a little war chest and go take on the big guys and gals.
What are the most popular questions that Jane is getting?
The number one question we get is, who can help me with blank? Think about a big organization, and you want to know who can help you onboard a new team member, or get some new technology going, or approve some kind of innovation expense. Who can help me with blank is one of the top questions we get.
Who's on your board?
Yeah, so we've got folks like Larry Zarin, the former Chief Marketing Officer of Express Scripts, Stephanie Leffler, who is an executive at Network Solutions, and a couple other folks that we know from St. Louis.
I was really impressed by your page of all the folks you've integrated with already. So clearly you've got an API strategy driving that. Those are also your competitors, right?
So we are trying to be the Switzerland in the AI race, where we connect to all of your major cloud-based systems. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Great job. Question I have, we had a Copenhagen reference, a Switzerland reference. What's next? Denmark, Finland?
Tough crowd.
Clearly, we don't want to hear me. All right, next up, please welcome Relish.
Hi everyone, thanks for having me. I'm Sarah Rumbaugh, the CEO and co-founder of Relish. We own and operate the sourcing marketplace platforms, Relish Careers and Transparent Career. We help many Fortune 500 and smaller companies hire diverse talent globally. Our mission is to make the recruiting process as user-friendly as possible, both through our SaaS platforms and through our recruitment services, so that we can bridge the gap between high-tech and high-touch hiring. So it's no surprise that the global recruiting spend is quite large. But we find that companies are either focusing on high-tech services, job boards, AI tools, or high-touch services, staffing, executive search. So there's a huge market opportunity for us to play on both sides and bridge the gap between high-tech and high-touch. And we do it in 4 key ways. By focusing on high-demand hiring markets, we started with MBA, data science, and engineering master's candidates. By providing a personalized user experience through our platforms customized for the candidates and highly granular salary and culture data. Through digital engagement, employer email marketing and videos, and proprietary matchmaking. And lastly, through our recruitment services to ensure employer ROI. Relish started a few years ago when my co-founder Zach and I were getting our MBAs at UVA Darden. We learned MBA recruitment is incredibly time-consuming, in-person, and competitive. And we thought, where's the match.com for us? So we built it with relishcareers.com. And now we serve thousands of universities globally and hundreds of thousands of candidates. Students create free profiles on our platforms while they're in university for master's degrees, so they can explore tens of thousands of jobs personalized for them and employer branding. The platforms are built with Ruby on Rails, React, and JavaScript. Today, we have over 100,000 salary data points, all user submitted, that makes engagement and the cost of job candidate user acquisition really low, engagement really high, and we're now a thought leader on compensation trends. Our employers receive an over 30% email engagement rate with candidates, and they use our webinars to connect with candidates virtually. Employers can create individual match scores for different job recs so that they can be matched quickly with the best diverse talent. We work with many well-known employers, including Walmart, JP Morgan, several others, and they're sourcing 20% of their master's degree hires from us. So there are a lot of companies in the talent acquisition space. Just look at all the companies here. But we find that they're focusing on one size fit all and either playing in the high touch or the high tech space, but not in the MBA and other high demand markets where we serve, and we're able to combine the two through the recruitment services and the SaaS software. The majority of our revenue is generated through employer SaaS annual subscriptions, but also university SaaS and other SaaS, and the remainder is recruitment services. To date, we've made over 1 million job candidate and employer connections. Annually, per employer, we have 10,000 impressions on their brands through our platform. We reached profitability in Q2 this year and even acquired another company this past summer, transparentcareer.com. We have over 300% year-over-year revenue generation, reaching over $1 billion at the end of 2018, and 330% year-over-year user growth. We're continuing to expand globally, focusing on alumni and lateral hires through continuous engagement with the job candidates, salary data for undergrads, establishing channel partners with ATSs and CRMs, and bridging the gap with job candidate services through career coaching and other high-touch services for the candidates. Thank you all so much for your time. It's great to be here.
Great job. Thank you very much. All right. I will turn it back over to our judging panel.
You have a very impressive network of universities. So how do you get that? And also, how do you partner with universities? Exactly.
It does take time to bridge those partnerships with universities, and we've been working on it for a few years. It was helpful to start the company while we were still students and learning a lot about who the universities are. But we also have student ambassadors at the schools who vouch for us and recommend us to their career offices, so that's been a key way to foster stronger relationships with the universities.
Another episode of RecTech is in the books. Follow Chris on Twitter at Chris Russell or visit rectechmedia.com, where you can find the audio and links for this show on our blog. RecTech Media helps both HR tech firms and employers to get more clients or candidates through our consulting practice and online tools. So be sure to check out our sites like recruiting headlines, job fairing, and more to stay up to date on what's happening in recruiting. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon on the next episode of RecTech, the Recruiting Technology Podcast.